Hi, how you doing? And welcome back to another video on the channel. What we have for you today is our wildcard video going into game week 23. Even if you're not wildcarding, you might be looking at sort of attacking the double game week for Man City and Arsenal. And we're also going to look at sort of planning transfers or strategy in for the blank game week in 25, because that is something that's worth considering. At the very least, you can maybe plan your transfers ahead. That's going to help you best navigate that with maybe out using any chips. So, yeah, please do support the channel if you're new. Like and subscribe is greatly appreciated. And let's get into it. So, we start with underrated options. And these really are underrated at the moment, to be honest. But stick with me, because I do think there's some value to be had here. So, we're going to start with Jordan Pickford. Now, he's only 5.1% owned and he's 4.4 million. And why should you go for him before any other goalkeeper? I think you're getting him in for like Sean Dyche's reputation and his managerial history. I think, during his time at Burnley, he was really kind of known for the opposition taking a lot of long shots. So it's really hard to get into the Burnley penalty box. And as a result, Nick Pope at the time had quite a lot of save points because all those saves that he was making were quite easier because he's coming in from further out. And I do think that he's going to try and instill that same mentality and formation at Everton. And Everton actually do have a pretty good squad, to be honest. So I think Jordan Pickford is quite underrated in that respect. And I do think that Everton are that sort of team where me, typically, I don't tend to react quick enough to stuff like this. So I'm telling you guys to instead. And I think John Pickford would be a good shout. Next up, we've got Badiashile. He has just joined Chelsea, but he's got 20 points in 3 game weeks. And he's had 3 starts and 3 clean sheets in that time. So he's only 0.6% owned, and he is one of the cheapest options into that Chelsea defence at 5 million. Chelsea's fixtures look okay. Leeds and Southampton at home, even West Ham and Leicester away don't look terrible. Spurs away, you might question. And even though Chelsea don't have great form at the moment, they're not conceding, so a defender makes perfect sense to me. Thirdly, we've got Kulusevski. Now, he is a cheaper option than Son and Kane into Spurs attack, and I really like Spurs' fixtures here. I think that Wolves and Nottingham Forest games, especially, I think you could really attack those game weeks by getting in somebody like Kulusevski, who's that mid-price option. And he actually has 7 attacking returns in 12 starts this season. It just so happens that those starts have been really spaced out across the whole season because of injury. But if he can stay fit, he is somebody that Antonio Conte does seem to like to play. Finally, we've got Mbuemo. Now, I know there's a blank game week in 25, but I do think, you can manage that in your squad. He is actually the sixth highest scoring striker in FPL right now. And apart from that blank, Brentford do have great fixtures. Palace and Fulham at home are really good games for an attacking team. And Brentford are playing pretty good as well. I think it's time, we kind of think they're the real deal and they should be able to maintain that form. So at 5.8 million, only 3.1% owned, I think these are some really underrated options. The cheaper, if you're looking at sort of getting away into some of these teams, I think they could be really good value. So onto the team itself, and we're going to start with the defence. And we've obviously got Pickford and Badiashile in there. We don't really need to talk about them anymore. I've got Kyle Walker in because of the double that we've got. I don't really think you need Kyle Walker in long term, but I think if you're wildcarding this game week, or you have a transfer that you think, oh, I kind of need to use it, or I'm going to, let it go to waste, you'd get in a double game week player. Villa at home is pretty good from a defensive point of view. Villa aren't necessarily known for attacking returns. And Arsenal away, are they going to be a bit rocked from that loss at Everton? Is the pressure going to start mounting? Because, if Man City manage to beat Arsenal, then it really does kind of swing all of a sudden. So, Arsenal have shown, maybe they're not quite as potent in attack as we maybe once thought, or maybe that's going to be a blip. Either way, go with the double game week player. And I've got Trippier in there because everybody's got Trippier. Even though Newcastle's fixtures do look pretty tough at the moment, I think this game week, Bournemouth away, and Trippier is too much of a risk not to have in your team. Going on to the midfield, and we've got for double Arsenal. Obviously, they've got a double game week this game week as well, and they don't have a blank. coming up at any time soon. But I think the double Arsenal midfield, even though they blanked against Everton, like we talked about, I think that's maybe going to be something where you can look at, riding that out. That's maybe a small sample size. Let's see how they do in the next couple of game weeks. That Man City game will be really interesting, and that will totally tell us how we're going to be moving forward in terms of whether Arsenal are the real deal. Got Kulusevski into us, talked about him in the bit before. I've gone with De Bruyne here. Now, I really don't think you need De Bruyne in long term. I think if you've got him already, I would look at maybe transferring him out after this game week. I think he's tying up a lot of funds. He's still more expensive than even Haaland. And I think that could be more spread across your team. You might look at getting rid of De Bruyne, even getting somebody like Matoma in. That's about 7 million cheaper, and then you could really upgrade, your defense, get your bench a bit better in order to bench boost maybe. The opportunities are endless, especially when you've got such a high price midfielder. You could literally scale down to anybody, keep that funds in the bank, and just keep using a transfer on your midfielder every week to get the best option in for each game week. Got Rashford in as well. He again, like Trippier, is somebody that you absolutely probably do need for the team right now, just because he's on such good form, and Leeds away looks a pretty good fixture. Leeds in a bit of disarray at the moment. Up front, we've got Nketiah and Haaland. You're absolutely gonna captain Haaland this game week. If you still got the triple captaincy, if you haven't used it on Rashford or Haaland previously, I kind of think you probably should use it this game week. Maybe you want to be brave and go with an Arsenal player instead. But I think Haaland, especially that Villa game, is maybe somebody that you would consider triple captaining. And Nketiah as well. Arsenal have a double game week and there's no blank, like we said. So I think tripling up on Arsenal makes sense for this, and just try and maximise those points. Jesus is still out, I believe, until 26th of February, so there's no real rotation risk now. But he is somebody that if you did get rid of De Bruyne for somebody, you could look at upgrading Nketiah to somebody like Kane. So onto the bench, and we've got a pretty okay bench in my opinion. Yeah, I've gone double Everton defence, but like I said, I'm slow to react on these sort of things usually. And I do think that Sean Dyche is going to, he's going to get Everton defending well to start with, but they are going to be difficult to beat, and they don't actually have bad fixtures. Once you get past this Liverpool game, they're pretty good fixtures overall. Max Kilman, he has Fulham away in game week 25. And Tarkowski has Villa away in 25 as well, and they're okay fixtures. In this wildcard team, we've only got, I think, Trippier, Rashford, and Mbuemo who have a blank in 25, so it navigates that quite well. You might also just want to rotate in and out. Kyle Walker's starts are a bit sporadic at the moment, but let me know what you think. I think it's pretty solid. I think it's got a lot of good upside in it, and also some quick reactions to players that are up and coming. So thank you very much for listening. Like I said, please do support the channel. On the road to 60 subscribers, and it is all greatly appreciated. Thank you to those who have been supporting so far all season and beyond, and I will see you in the next one.